By using a mushroom and performing a spin drift, where you drift to the right while holding left, she managed to spin far to the right while getting a lot of airtime to move further ahead. She then angled the nose of the bike down to get a nosedive, causing a big bounce that threw her over the edge. Finally, once she was halfway to the other side, she used a mushroom for speed and held back on the controller to fall slower. She made it across, and had just cut out almost the entire lap. Now, these inputs on their own are super tough, but the locations of the checkpoints means this is even more precise than it looks. When you move forward to go behind the railing, you leave key checkpoint 0 and enter key checkpoint 1. However, you need to ultimately leave the track from region 0 for the lap to count. So one of the hardest parts was making it back far enough to nick the corner of region 0 before flying off the edge. But if you managed to pull that off, all you needed to do was drive forward through the last key checkpoint and the lap would count. Chaining all of these inputs together was beyond precise. For years, nobody made any real progress on pulling off Esteloy's shortcut. On the task side of things, however, there was one possible improvement. See, Esteloy used all 3 of her mushrooms to make it across the track, and shortly after it was discovered that you really only needed to use 2 of them, one right before the spin drift, and one to provide speed to make it to the other side. Unfortunately, even using just 2 mushrooms meant you could only do this shortcut once per race, since you just have 1 mushroom left over. But what about taking it a step further? What about doing this shortcut with just 1 mushroom? Well, if that was possible, that would mean you could do the shortcut 3 times, once per lap, to finish the race in under a minute. For years it seemed out of the question, but in late 2020, testers started taking a closer look at it. On November 21st, CF made a task that used 1 mushroom before the spin drift, then just barely made it to the track without using a second one. He did it, but the lap didn't count. The reason why was because he didn't go far enough back to enter region 0. This step was much harder than it looked. Going far enough back involves delaying when you launch off the edge as long as possible, which means your mushroom will run out faster. CF used the Quacker to help him, since it gave better bounces at the cost of a slower speed, but still wasn't able to make it far enough back. What this run did do, however, was inspire Malio to start attempts of his own. Malio is a well-known tasser of Paper Mario, Mario Kart Wii, and various other games. In late December 2020, he turned his attention to Rainbow Road, trying to become the first player to create a 1 mushroom task of the Ultra Shortcut. He didn't know if it was possible, so all he could do was sit down with the task and try over and over.
Oh my god, this might actually happen. Holy... Holy fuck, that's so close. Oh my god. This is happening, this is happening, this is happening. Hello, SummoningSalt, how are you? Alright, now I have to make it.
On December 28th, 2020, Malio proved that the 1 mushroom ultra shortcut was possible. Rainbow Road's ultra shortcut could now be done on each lap. The course is done. Mario Kart Wii did its best to make players drive normally, but thanks to the efforts of so many in the community, it was overcome. Rainbow Road has been fully broken. But what about on the non-task side of things? This 3 out of 3 one mushroom method is considered 100% humanly impossible. Partly because of its precision, but partly because Malio briefly did rapid fire hop abuse as well. That rules out any human ever performing the Rainbow Road Ultra Shortcut 3 times in a race, and beating the course in under a minute. At least for now. But what about the normal Ultra Shortcut? Well, after Esteloy discovered it, this trick was assumed to be humanly impossible. Community members proclaimed that it would never be done, because the precision was way beyond other Ultra Shortcuts. Each step of the trick had its own set of insanely precise inputs that would need to be performed. For years after its discovery, few serious attempts were made at landing it. But as more and more of these other incredibly difficult and precise Ultra Shortcuts were hit, Rainbow Road's legacy just grew bigger and bigger. It became the holy grail of Mario Kart Wii shortcuts. So, by 2018, the quest for the Rainbow Road Ultra Shortcut began. One of the first serious contenders was King Alex, a player with a long career who's held numerous records over the years. He posted a video in August 2018 of some of his closest attempts. There were some nice runs, but they all either didn't have enough rotation or had too small of a bounce. They all ended in him falling well short of the track. In 2019, he did more attempts. This time, the closest ones died because he hit the out of bounds planes. These were close to reaching the road, but once he hit the plane, all of them stopped dead in their tracks. Still, these runs looked close enough to the task that some serious excitement was brewing in the community. By late 2019, more players were trying. In November, a player named Taylor had probably the closest call so far, making it really close to the track. But ultimately, Taylor too fell short. In April 2020, esteemed world record holder Justin had an attempt that looked extremely close, but he hadn't gone far enough back to hit Region 0. So 4 years after the Ultra Shortcut was discovered, even though there had been somewhat close calls, players still weren't quite doing all they needed to do to hit it. But in November 2020, players would get some help when CF released his task with the Quacker. I mentioned before how this helped get a 3 out of 3 task since the Quacker gives bigger bounces, but this improvement would also help with the normal shortcut. A bigger bounce meant there was a higher chance of making it to the road, which did help a bit. So now, there was new life for the Rainbow Road Ultra Shortcut. More players than ever before were going for it. Each of them wanting to be the one that would go down in history as the first to pull off the most legendary shortcut in Mario Kart Wii. And on December 6th, 2020, Arthur did this. But the lap didn't count. He had just missed going back far enough to reach Region 0. A YouTuber named Winbag4 posted a demonstration that had a green line to represent where Arthur needed to go for the lap to count. As you can see, he barely missed nicking it, so the checkpoint didn't update. This tiny distance was how close Arthur came to making history. The very next day, a player named Core became the second person to cross the gap of Rainbow Road. But he too didn't go far enough back. It seems that he was a few pixels closer than Arthur to hitting Region 0, but he still didn't reach it. That was 2 players in the same week who made it across the gap, but just couldn't get the lap to count. And a short while later, a 3rd player made it across, Happy with Sugar. He too reached the other side of the road, but wasn't far enough back to get the lap skip. And unlike Arthur and Core, Sugar would go on to repeat this feat 5 more times, leaving him with half a dozen skips that didn't count a lap.
Yeah, y'all see that? It's number 6. It's not a lap count. Don't get too excited.
That was the real hard part of this ultra shortcut. Making it across the gap was tough, but doing it from region 0? That was another story. Despite all of these close calls, none of them were able to get the lap to count. Weeks passed, 2021 began, and still nobody had pulled it off. At this point, the Rainbow Road Ultra Shortcut had stood the test of time for 5 years. Thousands of attempts from dozens of different players. In my first Mario Kart Wii video, I made a sincere statement. The Rainbow Road Ultra Shortcut would one day be pulled off. The only question was, who was going to be the author? Well, turns out, I was pretty close.
Oh my god! Oh my god, guys! Clip that, clip that. Clip that, guys. Oh, wait. Wait! Guys, I did it! 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 I did it!
If you enjoyed, it would mean a lot to me if you could share the video with 1 to 2 other people. It goes a long way on YouTube. Also, the pages for those who helped me make this are in a pinned comment, so check them out if you're interested. Thanks. Hello, can you guys hear me okay? Alright, awesome. So, one thing I need to clear up. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that, Arthur hit that Rainbow Road Ultra shortcut, and then because of that, I decided, okay, now I'm going to make the Mario Kart Wii video. It's perfect timing.